Hello, everyone. Welcome to our week 7 meeting. This is going to be a short one. We're basically just going to cover the prompt for your exploratory essay, which is your second major writing assignment for the course. So let's get started. Okay, I've got our prompt up here on the screen, so let's take a look. An exploratory essay is going to examine an idea without necessarily attempting to back up a claim or support a thesis. So let's think about that for a moment. You've just finished writing a summary response paper that also didn't require a solid thesis. I did ask you to include a working thesis, which is something that can adapt and evolve as you figure out your own thoughts and ideas and do more research. And that's going to be the same case here. You might be making a statement about why your topic is important or how you are feeling about it now, but we have not yet transitioned into a true argument paper where you are strongly making an argument for one side or the other. So again, our goal here is to examine the idea that is related to your topic without making an argument. We are still in the phase of being open-minded. The idea here, if we're thinking about our rhetorical situation and, of course, our audience, is that we want to inform our audience about the different perspectives on this topic. We'll be examining the connections between different opinions and also offering our own opinion. We want our reader to be able to form their own opinion as well by the time they're done reading our essay. You can think about exploring the links between your personal beliefs and the beliefs of others, cultural patterns that might be related to the topic, the natural world if you picked a more scientific topic, and of course, as I just mentioned, this essay is going to allow readers to bring in their own personal experiences, cultures, and ideas about the world. And in that way, you're inviting them into this conversation as well. So this is a very conversational type of piece. Of course, your language is still going to be appropriate for a graded essay, but we are thinking about not being as formal as we might in an argument paper. So a different tone than what you used in your summary response paper, which was very straightforward in terms of offering a summary of what someone else said and then offering your own response. This will be even more reflective in terms of thinking about what the other people have said, and we'll get a little bit more into detail about that as we move through this prompt. You can see at the end of the first paragraph, I have a note here that just says you can and should use I in this essay. We already know that that's acceptable for MLA formatting to begin with, especially the case here in this exploratory genre because you are exploring your own ideas. It would be impossible to write this well without using the word I. Looking at this list of 5 important items, these are items that your reader should be able to answer after they have read your essay. They should clearly know what topic you're exploring and why you chose the topic. So this is the first time that you're really being asked to explain what's your connection. Why does this topic mean something to you? What was the reason that you chose it, essentially? So I don't want you to write several paragraphs telling me a narrative story about something that happened to you. I do want to see anywhere from 3 to 5 sentences that makes it clear why this is important to you and what your connection is. Number 3 is obvious. How you feel about the topic is kind of the point of this exploratory essay. And I have to remind you, keep in mind, we are still in the open-minded stages of our work in the class. So while I want to know how you feel about the topic, you should not be making an argument. You should make it clear that you are still open to exploring new ideas and being persuaded one way or the other. That's not to say that you can't feel strongly about one side and lean heavily one way, but you should not be in a place where you are not open to exploring different ideas. Your reader should also know how others feel about the topic, and that's because you're going to include at least 2 new sources that have unique opinions or perspectives. So you're not going to use any of the sources that you used in your summary response paper. You're going to find 2 completely new sources, and they should not agree with each other. They should present opposing ideas at best, unique or different ideas at least. You should also include some unanswered questions that you have. In other words, where are you going with your research? What's going to be your next step? What types of information are you going to seek out as you move forward in your project? And you can see in bold the end of number 5, I want to see specifically at least 2 questions that you have for moving forward with research. You can use, excuse me, you can use this list of 5 items as an organizational scheme for writing your essay if you'd like. It makes sense, it's logical, and it flows well. That being said, you do not have to use this organizational scheme. You can end with some commentary about why the topic is important to you and start out by just basically introducing the topic. So it's up to you, but feel free to build your essay off of this list. Some of the requirements for the essay is that I would like the essay to be about 900 words at a minimum. I have seen that through experience and looking at these essays before, that anything less than that, it's really hard to actually explore thoughts that are related to 2 sources in under 900 words. So aim for 900. I think 11 to 1200 is a little bit better, and of course, longer is always fine. Format, as we've been doing in MLA style, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, and as I mentioned, include 2 new sources. So altogether, once you're done with this paper, you'll have 5 sources. So that's really going to be helpful when you start working on your actual argument paper, our big paper for the end of the course, because now you've got 5 sources on your topic. You're familiar with them, you've read them, you've written about them, so it's going to be really easy to pull those in. Okay, so moving into the last section of our prompt under research expectations, I'm going to jump right here to the italicized text since we already talked about needing 2 new sources. So this is just a little blurb that's an example of how you will use your sources in this exploratory essay. It reads, David Smith's article about whether or not high school students 16 and older should be allowed to choose online or face-to-face education brings up a few interesting points I hadn't thought of. He points out that for students who choose to work, there are a lot of benefits in the online model of high school. I'm still on the fence about this, though, because it seems like having this option might encourage less studying and more working. So you can see here that David Smith is the source, and there's just a brief sentence that explains what idea from that source is being talked about, and then the content transitions into what you think about that idea, and you don't have to have a solid thought on it. You can kind of still be in the middle, and again, as the name of the essay would indicate, you can still be exploring how you feel about different aspects of the topic. So the very last point that I want to make is that the bulk of this writing should be your thoughts and questions. Unlike the summary and response essay that you just finished, that was about half and half in terms of being summary and then your response to the ideas, this is going to be more like 80-20, where 80% is your thoughts and ideas as you're exploring different aspects of the topic, and 20% is going to be where you're presenting the 2 sources that you're using within the paper. That's the primary difference between this essay and the summary response essay. Final note here is that even though this essay is really reflective and I want you to capture your thoughts in a very genuine way, I strongly suggest doing some free writing in order to get this essay started. Your final draft that you're turning in, it should be well written. So this is not a journal type of thing. Even though you're capturing ideas like, I'm still on the fence about this, I'm not sure how I feel, you still need to formalize the essay for grading. So make sure that you take it in that direction. If you would like for me to take a look at a draft or a paragraph, or if you have any questions, you can always reach out via email. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.